Alright, so this right here is the Nothing Phone 1, which in itself is, well, positioned as a very unique phone, but feels quite similar to the Apple iPhone in some ways. However, in most ways, it's quite reminiscent of OnePlus devices, which kind of makes sense because it is Carl Pei who is behind this phone and who was behind OnePlus. So the big question is, for about the same price tag, how does the Nothing Phone 1 rank against, well, the modern and the new and the changed OnePlus? Let's find out. This is one from GTR and you're watching my in-depth comparison of the OnePlus Nord 2T versus the Nothing Phone 1. Let's get started. Alright, so let's start off by talking about the design here, and things could not be any different. On one hand, you have the Nothing Phone 1, which offers a unique, fresh take on the design of a smartphone. Although it's not entirely unique, but it still feels fresh. On the other hand, you have the OnePlus Nord 2T, which basically tries to reimagine an already aging design with some ill-positioned and asymmetrical camera layouts. But yeah, I mean, it still looks pretty good. The Nothing Phone's transparent glass back revealing the perfectly arranged components and the lights surely look extremely different. And the glass meets the flat aluminum edges, making the phone feel extremely premium with its design as well. You also get uniform bezels in the front, which, while I personally feel are a little bit thick, the symmetry in itself does make it look better. On the other hand, the OnePlus Nord 2T has achieved the perfect mixture of premium materials and cost cutting. See, while the rails are plastic, the buttons are metal, and the back here is glass. And the glass is not one that you've seen before. It's shimmery, matte, soft touch, black finish. Now, both the phones weigh around 190 grams, but in hand, I personally find the OnePlus Nord 2T to be a bit more ergonomic, simply because I like the curvature of the edges here. And yes, I mean, the difference is not much in weight, but yeah, the grip of the OnePlus device feels better in hand to me. Now, if you're a fan of flat edge designs, you would definitely like the Nothing Phone 1 more. See, at the end of the day, they're both unique designs in their own way, but the OnePlus Nord 2T definitely blends a bit with all of the other options in the market, while the Nothing Phone 1 interestingly stands out. With that being said, if premiumness is what you're after, the Nothing Phone 1 is definitely the way to go for. But if ergonomics and usability are something that you fancy, I personally feel that the Nord 2T would be a better pick. Moving on to the displays, the Nothing Phone 1 offers a 6.5-inch Full HD Plus 10-bit OLED panel with a 120Hz refresh rate. On the other hand, you get the OnePlus Nord 2T, which offers a 6.43-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED panel with a 90Hz refresh rate. Now, while both the phones support HDR10 Plus and come with Widevine L1 certification, at the time of recording, neither devices support HDR inside Netflix. On the other hand, the 120Hz refresh rate of the Nothing Phone 1 definitely feels far more smoother and refreshing to use in day-to-day usage, and not just in gaming, but for everyday usage, that just feels a lot more smoother. Now, I'm not saying 90 Hz is bad. In fact, I've gone on record to say multiple times that 90 Hz is more of a sweet spot because it offers you a good balance between battery backup and smooth displays. But I mean, of course, if you have the option, then why would you not pick 120 Hz? Now, aiding the content consumption department, we have the audio department, and in our testing, we found the OnePlus Nord 2T to offer a louder audio response. However, that is not to say that OnePlus's audio department is better, because we felt that Nothing's audio is far more crisper and richer. Alright, so moving along, let's talk about the camera. Now, while both the phones share the 50MP primary sensor, the Nothing Phone 1 comes with a 50MP ultra-wide sensor as well, while the OnePlus Nord 2T only has an 8MP ultra-wide sensor with a pretty shabby 2MP mono sensor. Up front, the Nothing Phone 1 has a 16MP selfie shooter, while the OnePlus Nord 2 has double the pixels for its selfie camera. Now, in terms of the camera performance, with the main sensor, both the phones click images with a very different approach. Now, while the OnePlus Nord 2T goes for a balanced processing with certain bits of over sharpening, the Nothing Phone 1 goes for warmer tones with very natural detail and sharpness. See, the details are well maintained in every shot, but the Nothing Phone 1 keeps it close to natural, while OnePlus has a tendency to flesh out too many details. Now, this might seem attractive to some users, but others might find it as over sharpening. Moving on to HDR, once again the OnePlus Nord 2T comes out on top, which performs better and manages to keep a good balance between both highlights and shadows. Now, it's not to say that the Nothing Phone 1 is bad, but yeah, in comparison, the OnePlus definitely feels better. Of course, the ultra-wide sensor of the Nothing Phone 1 gives it an advantage in comparison to the Nord 2T. You have a much sharper 50MP sensor that not only captures more detail but also captures more color and definitely looks a bit more vibrant in comparison to the Nord 2T. Moving on to low light shots, both the phones do well, but one thing to note is that the Nothing Phone 1 takes about 5 seconds of exposure for every night mode shot, while the OnePlus Nord 2T takes a little under 2 seconds of exposure. Now, of course, they are not perfect and you can notice a little bit of noise on both the shots. However, as you can see on your screen, I think the Nothing Phone 1 is doing a slightly better job here. Moving on to selfies, both the phones perform very well. However, I would say that the Nord 2T takes a slight edge here thanks to better details and slightly more accurate colors, especially when it comes to the skin tones. As for videos, both the phones are limited to 4K 30fps on the main sensor. The Nothing Phone 1 has better details, sharpness, colors and light. However, the video is far more stabilized on the Nord 2T. So essentially you have to make a pick on which factors you value more. Alright, so next up, let's talk about the performance. The Nothing Phone 1 comes with the latest Snapdragon 778G Plus processor coupled with UFS 3.1 storage, while the OnePlus Nord 2T comes with a new Dimensity 1300 processor coupled with UFS 3.1 storage. Now the benchmarks are on your screen and for the most part they are quite neck to neck. However, the interesting part is when you take into the amount of throttling that you notice. See, the Nothing Phone 1 has just about 92% of throttling, which is pretty amazing. On the other hand, we have the OnePlus Nord 2T, which throttled to 63% of its peak performance, which basically translates to poor sustained performance. And this is something that you experience clearly when it comes to gaming. See, if you're gaming for about 30 to 40 minutes, the experience is same on both. However, once you cross the 40-45 minute mark, the OnePlus Nord 2T starts to have slight stutters. It's nothing aggressive and it's not going to destroy your gaming experience in any manner. But yeah, the Nothing Phone 1 definitely offers a far more stable experience. The good part here is that for regular day-to-day usage, both the phones are very evenly matched and you hardly have any complaints on either devices. I mean, sure, there are some software-related bugs on both the phones, but I mean, it's a very slight difference and honestly, you'll be happy with either of them. Speaking of software, of course, the Nothing Phone 1 comes with stock Android with slight additions from Nothing, while OnePlus comes with ColorOS, which is OxygenOS, which is similar to stock Android, but yeah, has a lot of features. Now, if you talk about pure features, of course, the OnePlus Nord 2T with OxygenOS will offer you more additions. With that being said, the Nothing Phone 1 seems to be the most stable of the lot in comparison to the Nord 2T. What's more is that you get better promise of software updates. The Nothing Phone 1 offers 3 years of OS updates and 5 years of monthly security updates. For the Nord 2T, it's limited to 2 years of OS updates and 3 years of security updates. What's worse is that we've already seen OnePlus's track record when it comes to updates, and this thing does not look that promising, especially in the software department. Moving on to the battery, both the devices come with the same 4500 mAh battery, and the battery life is also pretty similar, with both the devices offering 6 to 6.5 hours of screen on time with heavy usage, which is pretty good. However, the differences lie in terms of charging. So the Nothing Phone 1 comes with support for 33 watts of fast charging, along with support for wireless charging as well. On the other hand, while the Nord 2T does not have wireless charging, it does offer 80 watts of super fast charging. So essentially, you have to make your pick whether you want to go with the convenience of wireless charging or you want to go with the convenience of super fast charging. Personally, I think I'll go with the Nord 2T because as much as I admire wireless charging, 80 watts of fast charging is just bonkers. And obviously, I mean, I've been spoiled for choice having used all those 65 watt chargers. So yeah, I think I'll be slightly leaning towards the Nord 2T in this segment. But I mean, if this phone did not have this level of fast charging, I'd be more than happy to pick the Nothing Phone 1 simply because wireless charging in itself has become a regular part of my day-to-day activities. Also, while on the topic of charging, one slight thing that I would like to add on, the 80 watt charger for the OnePlus is actually provided in the box. For the Nothing Phone 1, you'll have to purchase a charger separately, which kind of seems to be the trend these days. I'm not a fan of it, but it is what it is. Which basically brings us to the pricing and the verdict. See, essentially, if you compare just the devices in itself, there's a price gap of about rupees 4,000. Then you factor in a good charger. So let's take a ballpark figure of 1,000 rupees for a good charger. So yeah, the difference comes out to be about 5,000 rupees between both the devices. Now, in my opinion, I would say if you want a premium device that you can flash around, that looks good, performs well, and has a very capable camera, I would go with the Nothing Phone 1. Of course, the software department is an added bonus here, thanks to the stock-like experience with Nothing's additions on top. With all of that being said, the OnePlus Nord 2T still retains a lot of value from the original Nord, or even the Nord 2 for that matter, which basically means that you get a massive amount of value for money. Sure, the screen could have been 120Hz, but apart from that, it's really hard to pick on certain things. This is a very capable device for day-to-day usage. Sure, if you're a gamer, you can find better devices for the same price tag. But this is more of a phone that I would recommend for everyday usage. It's just right in all of the departments and would not really disappoint you in any manner. And well, that was it. If you found this video helpful, make sure to let us know, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel for more awesome tech content. Till then, this is One from GTR, and I'll see you in the next one.